Nigeria is ready for battle against Burkina Faso over the aircraft C-130 that was seized in Burkina Faso and detained 11 soldiers. Now, why am I saying this? Senator Oyodele said on Arise TV that Nigeria should not rule out the possibility of military intervention in Burkina Faso over the aircraft that was seized because that was undermining their sovereignty. This is what the senator is saying. And I want to ask one of the questions. Do you think Nigeria will become a bigger problem in Africa? Simply because before all this thing happened, we know the story, how the aircraft went and landed in Burkina Faso, Bobo Dioulasso, and it was seized. And that aircraft is being under investigation, as we said now. The authorities of Nigeria just said that the aircraft is going to Portugal. It's moving from Lagos to Portugal. But the authorities of Burkina Faso found it fishy. They think that this is something different from what the authorities of Nigerians are saying. So they are still investigating to know what is actually on the ground. Basically, the senator is saying that the government should consider military action against Burkina Faso. You all know that the aircraft C-130 was flying through the airspace of Burkina Faso without authorization. That's when it was taken down, forced to land, so that they can ask questions, they can investigate. It's not that they were actually doing the right thing and it was forced to land. So despite they are the wrong side doing the wrong thing, the senator is saying that the plane should be released immediately. If not, the government should consider a military action against Burkina Faso. This is one of the craziest things I've seen so far, that Nigeria is becoming a bigger problem in West Africa. Now, he did not just stop there. He went further ahead to mention the Entebbe raid that happens in Uganda in 1976. Now, if you don't know the story, this is how the story goes. A plane started from Israel. A plane moved from Israel to go to France. So that's it. It was moving from Israel to France. And unfortunately, accidentally, some of the Palestinians hijacked the plane. So when they hijacked the plane, it moves from Israel and it was diverted to Uganda in Entebbe. That's the town where the plane was landed. So instead of the plane to move from Israel to France, it was diverted to Uganda, and about 200 passengers were on board. And when they get to Uganda, the hostages were there. They held them hostages, and military surrounded the plane. People were there. But in that time, the president of Uganda was Idi Amin Dada. He was the president of the States by then, and he doesn't have a good relationship with Israel. So the only option that Israel has was to take a precise decision, which they sent 200 soldiers, commandos, who are very skilled and professional. So they went slow under the radar with 4 planes. So when they reached there at Entebbe airport, they killed 45 Uganda soldiers and took the hostages from them and put them in plane power, and they were going. And what they did again is to crack down the Air Force planes of Uganda Army, so that they will not have any follow back in the air. Nobody will chase them in the air. So that was done precisely by professional and skilled soldiers. And the person that led this operation was Jonathan Netanyahu, who is the brother of Benjamin Netanyahu. And this operation was called the Operation Thunderbolt. And the man that led the operation was killed in Uganda. Jonathan Netanyahu was killed in Uganda by then during this operation. And it was a successful mission, though it was a successful operation. And I will probably say that this is what the senator is suggesting that it should happen in Burkina Faso. But me looking at this scenario, I can see probably that they do not have the kind of skills to exercise this precisely. They do not have that kind of skills. You may be big, but that does not mean that you're powerful. It's simple as that. Now, what is the point here? In Burkina Faso, what is happening between Burkina Faso and Nigeria? Nigeria was flying at the airspace of Burkina Faso without authorization. On the 8th of December 2025, Nigerian aircraft C-130 was moving from Lagos to Portugal, as Nigerian experts says that it was moving from Lagos to Portugal. Just look on the map. You see, it was moving from Lagos to Portugal. But let me say, accidentally, it was forced to land in Bobo Dioulasso in Burkina Faso. A short flight, as they say that it's emergency. That's why they land in Bobo Dioulasso in Burkina Faso. So there, it was forced to land in Bobo Dioulasso because they were flying at the airspace of Burkina Faso. Now, the Nigerian authorities are saying that they are insisting that the plane is moving from Lagos to Portugal. But the question is, how did it enter the airspace of Burkina Faso illegally? There are so many ways to go to Portugal. I think you don't have any authorization to fly at the airspace of Burkina Faso. You can take many routes. Just look at the map. Nigeria can take many routes over here. Ghana, Togo, Benin, Chad, whatever, and so on and so on. They can actually take that route. Now, why Burkina Faso? That's one of the questions. Because critically, you don't have a good relationship with this man or this guy. You don't have any good relationship with Burkina Faso. So why are you flying in their airspace illegally? Because you are the one that said they shouldn't fly in your airspace. They shouldn't defy your sovereignty. Now you are defying somebody's sovereignty. It's just a matter of fact. Because when that time that coup happened in Niger and General Tiani took over, the general of the army of Nigeria said they are ready to deploy military into Niger to go and fight them.
We must ensure that decisions taken here today are not mere rhetorics, but are transformed into tangible actions on the ground.
So at the first sight, Nigeria does not like Niger or does not like these guys. You have a problem with them. That's why Burkina Faso said when any attacks on Niger is an attack on Mali and Burkina Faso.
Avertissent que toute intervention militaire
warned that any military intervention against Niger would amount to a declaration of war against Burkina Faso and Mali.
Now, why is all those things happening? Because Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger ditched France and decided to leave ECOWAS for their own safety, for their own freedom. But Nigeria does not like that idea. Nigeria does not like that idea. So they become a bigger problem in the picture. Nigeria begin to attack these people. And on the matter of fact, on many occasions, Niger has accused Nigeria of working with French to bring a lot of terrorists or push a lot of terrorists into their states. So as Nigeria is saying the airspace is blocked for them, they can't use it anymore. Now, why are you using somebody's airspace? That's the question. That's the question at hand. Now, on the other hand, Nigerian Air Force aircraft C-130 is flying to Portugal. Now, accidentally, it landed in Bobo Dioulasso. Just let's look at the map. It's flying from Lagos to Portugal. Look at the distance. Now, look at the way. And now it's landing in Bobo Dioulasso in Burkina Faso. And they are calling it emergency landing or short flight. This does not look like a short flight because looking at the distance, this is not a short flight. But do you know what is actually most surprising? A night before that happened, Nigeria helps the Benin to fight insurgency, to fight against the coup leaders, to fight against those who want to take control of the country and to restore democracy. So just a day and that happened. So what do you think people will be saying? And that C-130 aircraft is used to do surveillance. It's used to deploy military. It's used for food and ammunitions and all those stuff. So people are now saying that where the plane actually landed, Bobo Dioulasso, that's where many of insurgents or many of terrorists, bandits are in Burkina Faso. So they are currently saying that Nigeria is using that to put food over there or put ammunitions to those people, drop it down to those people. That's what people are saying. And others too are saying that Nigeria is actually spying on Burkina Faso, something else like that. Which is which? Because in this scenario, you can actually see what is happening. So what the senator is saying that despite Nigerian army or Nigeria is facing a tough time, is facing insurgency in Nigeria, is facing a lot of insurgency, they should not rule out the possibility of military action against Burkina Faso. Now, we all know that Nigeria is facing a lot of insurgents, terrorists, bandits, Boko Haram and co. And some people are being abducted, some people are being kidnapped, and ransoms are being demanded in Nigeria. That's what is happening in Nigeria. But they couldn't resolve anything of such. But they are able to resolve the coup that happened in Benin to return states into democracy again. Now, what about their states? And as a matter of fact, as their 11 soldiers are in Burkina Faso, they are being treated well, not badly. And even the authorities of Nigeria are trying to do diplomatic talks so that they can bring the aircraft and the people back safely. But as Burkina Faso, as we know in this era, they are going to do so much investigation to know what happens before the plane landed in Burkina Faso, what happened before they are passing through their airspace, what are the reasons before they can be able to conclude and leave these people to Nigeria. So the senator is suggesting that they should do otherwise, which isn't going to help anybody. Yes, it's true that Nigeria is big, 250 million people, but they couldn't crash down or they couldn't stop terrorists who are not even up to any figure of the kind of people, the populations that they have. So it's not a matter of being big. It's not. You can be big, but somebody who is small can defeat you. Yeah, it's simple as that. So I don't think they have the capability, they have the skills to achieve this goal. That's what I think. But what do you think? You yourself, what do you think? Whatever it is, just drop your opinion in the comment section. Thanks for watching this channel.